Oh, okay. Your worst gig ever, 2008. Tell me about that.
Let me see what I have. Oh yeah, when a hurricane season, I have my tables before me, and we knew that the hurricane was coming.
A hurricane is coming.
Yeah. So everybody's.
You're in Jamaica.
Yeah, everybody's eating, and I have this little tiny show, and it's keep on raining more, and people are moving, and people are standing because the rain is, and I just keep the thing going, but the wind was so strong that my table flew over, and I have a bird leaving me because the bird sensed, that when.
The bird could sense the storm was coming.
The storm was coming, something, because I from what I heard, the animal sense first when something.
So the bird knew it's got to get the hell out of here. It's going to be dangerous.
When something of the
this
nature.
Is a dove.
Yeah, the dove.
A dove for your magic act, and it flew away. Before the trick.
No, I usually appear them.
Okay.
And I put it inside a little box I had in my suitcase so they can remain there.
Yeah.
But I was doing something and the whole suitcase got blown up and the whole thing dropped, and I guess the little box opened and the bird.
So this is actually before you'd done the dove trick. Or you appeared them.
And I appeared them
So
first.
At least you'd done the trick first.
Yeah. Well,
but then the bird flew away and you lost the bird forever.
I have many of these scenarios. Sometimes I appear the bird when I'm working outdoor, and the bird see nothing. Here it goes, and they found it somewhere. The neighbor have found it around the hotels, and they get it for me. Sometimes
you find the bird again.
Sometimes no. I remember I have one bird flew to me, never come back, and I remember the bird just flies and it goes to a tree or something, and then I get it back. But just not often. These are more of the crazy thing. The table I was doing, I had two tables.
That's a disaster though, isn't it?
The table like blew.
Wow, the table just flew away.
And
all your props were on the table.
And they were able me to, and I carry on because you always carry on.
The show must go on.
Show must go on. Make it shorter, make it good, but must go on.
Oh, brilliant. Hello, so that is the magician Jose Antonio Almenares doing a magic show in Jamaica during a hurricane. Now, this is why I love doing this podcast, because I learn things and I talk about stuff that only entertainers will care about. A few weeks ago, a couple months ago, podcast 12, I was in Singapore interviewing John Heron, and he said he used a pop-up laundry bag. If you don't know what a pop-up laundry bag is, just Google it. It's the perfect example of pack flat, play big. It folds up really flat. He uses a pop-up laundry bag as his dumping bag. So he's doing his stage show. He takes the props out of his flight case and then he dumps them into this pop-up laundry bag. And it keeps the stage nice and tidy, and it's easy to take them all off stage when he's finished his show. And ever since I interviewed John a few months ago, I've been looking around Hong Kong trying to find such a pop-up laundry bag, and I couldn't find one. I walk into Jose's office, lo and behold, he's got two brand new pop-up laundry bags in plastic, still in their wrappers, and they're black colour, which is perfect for a show, instead of being white or pink. And he gives me one, so I got one at last. Jose, there we go, you see? Same problem, same solution. He's exactly the same wavelength as me. And we're talking to Jose. If you want to check out Jose Antonio Almenares, his website is www.amazing-magic.com. Wow, what an amazing life and career. He was born in Cuba, and he was doing stage shows there. he ran away from the circus to get to Canada. He spent 13 years in Canada doing a lot of close-up magic. And he also spent 2 years in China doing some TV work. And now he's in Hong Kong doing birthday parties. He's been here since 2009. Alright, amazing stuff. Let's go and talk to the incredible Mr. Jose Almenares. You know, I wish you'd get better at these introductions by now, shouldn't I? I've forgotten to mention my stuff. If you want to check out the old episodes of this podcast, then go to www.thebigbenshow.com. Have I done it again? Have I said www instead of www. I'm always doing that. Man. Okay, guys. If you want to get in touch, check out www.thebigbenshow.com. Man, I need a new career. Take care. Let's talk to Jose.
It started more or less at the age of 13.
13, yeah?
Yeah, and I remember a friend of mine used to basically tease me with some tricks and always showing me the trick and then run away and always back me, and I was intrigued into the art at that time, and I got hooked and with it, and I wanted to learn. So yeah, it was.
Oh, you've answered the questions from my email.
Yeah. All of them. I have it over here because I wanted to be able to properly tell you in a perfect way, you know.
What was my next question on the email?
By the age of 13, one of my friends showed me some magic trick that fascinated me, made me want to learn magic. Once I started, I got hooked, and I wanted to dig into it more, and I never stopped since then. Basically, it was like that.
And you were doing magic shows in Cuba?
What happened is that after that, he told me that if you want to learn some magic, he gave me the address of a guy to see.
Okay.
Well, not the actual address. He said there is a big show in the theater. Go and see the show.
Yeah.
So I went to the show, but I was packed full. I couldn't get in.
Okay.
And being at the lobby and asking of the theater and asking about the show and stuff like that, I met this gentleman.
Yeah.
And he said, if you're interested to learn some magic, you have to pay for it. It's not free. I said, no problem. I'm willing to pay.
Okay.
And he said, well, come Tuesday and Thursday to my place.
Let's get the guy's name.
Eduardo Martinez.
Okay, how do you spell that?
Eduardo. Eduardo. Eduardo Martinez.
Okay.
And I decided to learn with him. And basically, I spent about 2 years on and off going to his place, and I learned the principles with him. He would give me a coin and say, roll the coin, one hand to the other, both five. But once you have done, you come back and see me.
Okay.
He used to say to me, I believe that it will not be ready till a month from now. This takes a lot of time. And I would have show at the door next week.
Did you do it?
Yeah, I do it.
So, you start at 13, your friend shows you some tricks.
Yeah.
You meet, your friend introduced you to a Cuban magician.
Yeah.
Eduardo Martinez.
Yeah.
You study with him for a couple of years.
Yeah.
You're entering magic competitions in Cuba and winning them.
Yes.
So you're a naturally super talented guy?
I am. Well, I guess so.
and modest. Okay. And so you're doing stage shows in Cuba.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of events are you doing?
They used to have a big company in one of the resorts in Cuba. It's just a local resort. You need to put something.
That's fine. It's fine.
Local resorts. They had
these are like holiday resorts.
Yeah, holidays. They have these companies called.
Doesn't matter. You don't need the name.
It's a it used to be a company.
Yeah.
For magician, they have a theater, and that company provide magic shows.
Oh, and you were doing these shows.
I got into the company and I was performing in there.
Okay.
I did some shows in there.
And you're doing one-man stage shows?
No, there were actually about 6 magicians.
Okay.
And they were doing illusions. Everybody have to do their own routine.
So you do about 5-10 minutes, and someone else do 5 or 10 minutes.
And participate in illusions during the show. So each of us would have to have a routine.
Yeah.
Let's say I was doing billiard ball, the other guy was doing rings and caps and this thing, which this routine, and then each of us will choose an illusion and be part of the illusion of the show.
Okay, you mean you would choose an illusion and you would help? You would all take part in one.
Yeah, you do. Everybody will choose one kind of illusion, so everybody will have a routine and an illusion.
Oh, I get it.
And the whole show was mixed up with all this.
And could you make a living doing that?
At that time, I started, and I didn't consider it as a living. I was just more like I want to learn more.
Yes. Yeah.
And I wanted to.
How old are you? A teenager?
I was about 18.
18,
About 18, yeah.
Still at school?
Yeah, I still was going to school. Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing that, and when did you decide to move to Canada? How old were you then?
I was 20.
So you were doing these shows in Cuba for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And then.
And what happened is that these shows was only seasoning, for.
Do you mean
summertime?
Seasonal, yes. Summertime.
Seasonal for the summertime. Then after that, this company they will send people to work in different places.
Right.
You know, they will rotate them. They will say, well, we're 6. 2 of you gonna go and work for I don't know, for a factory.
Sure.
To this, they will give us work.
So you're sent out somewhere.
Yeah, I was sent out to work in a circus.
Oh.
Yeah, and I did work in a circus for I think over a year.
Oh wow.
And during the circus did a tour, and close to where the circus stopped, they were opening a hotel, a resort for tourists.
Oh, okay.
So I basically escaped from the circus.
Okay.
And got into the hotel. I was able to get interview and do some sample of my magic, and then the hotel hired me.
Oh, brilliant!
And I got hooked into the hotel tourism resorts. The circus. I left the circus behind because I wasn't making too much money. It was more of a learning process.
Right.
And that kind of pushed me to this thing.
So you decide to yourself, I'm going to try and get a job in this hotel for the tourists doing magic shows, and you get it.
Yeah, I got it.
Brilliant.
And then I spent 2 years in the resort working in a stage show, doing a little bit of close-up magic.
Doing your own stage show?
No, I was part of the part of the entertainment department.
Yes.
So they will have wait a second.
That's Marco. Maybe Marco will be a magician. That's Jose's little son. Almost 2 years old. Okay, and you're doing a stage show as part of the entertainment. How long was your stage act?
It depends because, for example, every days they have groups. Not every day, they have some of the different groups coming from abroad in the city to perform, like dancer, Tropicana, and they would include me on the show for like 10-15 minutes.
Yeah.
So to make it like a variety show.
Yes.
And I was.
This is similar to me in Singapore. My first job, I did a 5 minutes Charlie Chaplin. I was dressed as Charlie Chaplin and I was doing a juggling routine, and it was part of a big variety show in Singapore. So I know the kind of thing you're talking about.
Yeah. And then I believe that I did my own show as the time went by, and I offered to do a show. I was doing like a 30 to 45-minute show.
Excellent. So you're there. You've got it sorted.
Yeah.
You've gone from being a small part of a big show to doing your own solo show.
Solo show.
So why did you leave Cuba if you're doing this? This is great.
Because life changed for everyone.
Right.
I found a friend basically, and I found a Canadian girl, and
it's good that we're talking about this before your wife comes back.
Yeah.
Let's get Canadian girl out of the way before your wife. Don't want to make your wife jealous.
I met a Canadian girl, and basically she wanted to invite me to
She was
Canada.
a tourist at this.
She was a tourist. She just come to
visit Cuba.
To visit Cuba, and she asked me why she saw a talent on me, and she asked me why you don't go to travel. I said because it's hard to travel out of here.
It's hard to leave Cuba.
And and then she said to me, how about if I invite you? And I said, you basically gonna waste your money because they don't let anybody out of the country at that time.
Right.
And,
so how did you get out?
So we become good friends, and one thing's lead to the other. Become girlfriend and boyfriend, and she basically once again saw a talent on me and wanted to help me out, and we decided to marry.
Yeah.
And basically that was the.
Once you're married, you can leave Cuba and go to Canada.
Oh, even though I had some hard times, because once I have the paper. Marriage, I went to the immigration, I have the interview. They didn't accept. They said
even
to
though
me,
you're married.
Yeah, they said to me, oh, you just want to get out of the country, I know your purpose, blah blah blah. So I have to call her, and she was called immigration, which showed pictures of weddings and phone bills and on the past.
You do have a proper relationship.
Yeah, I had a proper relationship.
This is amazing.
And finally I ended up going to Canada.
Yeah, okay. Because that's always a thing for us, people like me and you who do work in a different country from our birthplace. It's always hard to get a permit to work in another country.
Yeah,
There's
it is.
so many different ways.
It is very hard. It is very hard.
So you're in Canada, you're married, you're working in a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
And they let you do magic, or they wanted you to do magic, or?
Well, once I got to Canada, because I got married.
Right.
Basically, I didn't have any problem in the country because I have my social insurance.
Yes.
Everything belongs to me right away.
Okay, you're allowed to stay.
I was legal.
To work. You're legal.
Naturally legal once I entered Canada, which was good. I didn't have any problem whatsoever to find a job. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, your job was working in a Mexican restaurant. Were you working as a magician? That you were hired by the restaurant to be a magician. Again, that's a pretty lucky thing to get, because there are many restaurants would hire a magician full time.
At the very beginning, it was very rough because I needed to do all kinds of job in order to earn money.
Yes.
And later on catch up with the magic.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I used to work in a bakery from 5 o'clock till 3 o'clock in the afternoon. After that, by 5 o'clock in the afternoon till 9 o'clock, I was just doing the close-up magic in the restaurant. Then sometimes I would have to go on Thursday and Saturday. I would have to go to a bar after that.
You must have got very good at close-up magic.
Yes, I did. I did get very.
You'd already won an award in Cuba,
yeah.
so you'd already had some practice at it.
Yes.
But you'd be doing stage shows in Cuba, and now you're doing close-up magic
in Canada. And on the weekends, through the restaurant that I was working on, I was getting some phone calls to do kid shows and family shows.
Okay.
So I did those up there
as well,
but not as much as I wanted to do.
Yes.
But I did.
Let's talk about the close-up magic in a restaurant, because when I've worked in restaurants, and sometimes people don't want to be disturbed. They want to have their meal. They don't want somebody coming and singing a song or doing magic tricks. How did you approach guests?
Yeah. Well, everybody is different.
Yeah.
But I always looked into this issue. You have to really be careful when you approach to a
I
table.
think so. I think it's perhaps the most important part
yes.
of the act.
I'm very spontaneous. I do think logically, but in a spontaneous and way that I can intrigue get the attention of the client right away. For example, I will wanted to go to a table to do the close-up magic, and I would pass by, and once I pass by, I drop my wallet, which would be the wallet on fire, and then I just pick up the wallet, and I immediately say, "Excuse me, does anybody lost the wallet?"
Right.
Here? So the first reaction is everybody start touching their pocket. No, and then I produce the fire on the wallet. Once they see the fire on the wallet, which is a very nice shocking effect,
yes,
they were hooked in
Excellent.
there, and
what a great
there's
way.
There's no
They're going to want to see magic now.
Yes.
So that's lovely. So you walk past, you accidentally drop your wallet, you pick it up. Has anybody dropped their wallet?
Exactly.
So straight up, and then the wallet
goes on fire.
Yeah. Oh, that's a lovely way to start a.
That's one of the
one of the ways.
The ways I do to start magic, and I never had any problem. It works 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, never had any problems. Another thing is I also use the flash paper, and I have a tissue, and I pick up the tissue underneath the table and ask, does anybody drop this? Just in a casual way without, interrupting, rather than just go, oh, my name is Jose, I'm the house magician, and I want to do magic.
Yeah.
No.
No, this is great.
Very spontaneous. You go and do something.
I think it's brilliant.
That get their attention first. So once you have them in your pocket, you can play around with them, with the people on the table.
Oh, that's great. That's really good.
Yeah.
So you're doing this in Canada. Did you say in Canada? Did you say 13 years?
Yes, it was on and off, because in that period of 13 years, I moved to China for 2 years.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was in China for 2 years.
How did you move to China?
Well, it's a long story. Besides, I married to the Canadian girl, and we basically was a mutual agreement between both of us. In order for me to go to Canada, I don't consider an actual real marriage. It was sort of a mutual agreement. Then once I got to Canada, 3 years after, we both went our way.
Right. After 3 years in Canada, we went separate ways.
Then I have to work, keep my life with the magic and other job part times, and then I met another Chinese woman. But will last only 3 more years again.
Oh, 3 years.
And finally, I said to myself, I don't think I will ever get married again, because for some reason I travel, it's very difficult.
So you were working, you met the Chinese woman, and that's why you went to China?
Yeah.
And you stayed there for 2 years doing magic shows?
On and off. I went the first year, then I come back, and I went for the second year.
Right.
And,
did you do any shows in China?
Yeah, I did some TV shows in China.
TV shows?
Yeah, I did a couple of TV shows, and I bought like 5 illusions, and I bought a lot of things.
5 or fire?
5. 5
1,
magic.
2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, 5 illusions, magic big illusions, and
So you weren't doing regular work in China, but you were getting some bits of. You were getting the occasional big thing that they did.
Yeah,
to be on television.
I was trying to get popular with the people up there.
Yeah.
And
was language a problem? Because had you picked up any Chinese?
I picked up a little bit of a Chinese, but not good enough. No. But to me, the language, when it comes to the magic show, I always try to find a ways that I can do my act that is very visual, it speak by itself.
Yeah, the act is visual, so even if you don't speak the language, you can
they
still
will know
see what's happening.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Usually I keep it that way, because once you travel, and then if you have to translate and things like that, it's a hassle, you know.
Were there anything special about working on television? That you could tell
No, I
attention?
remember was a very, it's like you interviewing me here.
Yeah.
They just ask all these questions, and how actually they start asking me how I approach.
So they've had interviews on Chinese TV.
Yeah.
But you were doing magic tricks as well?
Yeah, I did 2 or 3 segments or some magic.
And what kind of TV shows were you on? Talk shows?
I think it's a talk
talk
shows. Yeah, talk shows.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've been to China. You're back in Canada again.
Yeah, I was back in Canada, and then once again I decided going on my own, and I keep on working in Canada, and I got this opportunity by my actual mentor, teacher, Eduardo Martinez.
Eduardo Martinez again.
He
okay.
offered me a contract in Jamaica for a year.
Ah, Jamaica next, okay.
Yes, and I did the contract for him. Everything was great, except that he begged me to stay one more year.
Okay.
So I took the business to a big higher level, so much so that I was doing 44 shows a month.
44 shows a month?
44 shows a month.
Wow. Okay, let's stop there, right there. So that's more than one show a day?
Yeah, I was more than one show a day.
Where were you working in Jamaica?
I work on all the Sandals resorts.
Sandals resorts,
and
okay.
I work for Iberostar, other companies, Starfish, Rios.
Okay, so you're doing lots of resort shows.
Holidaying. I was all over the place.
Okay, and you're doing a solo stage show?
Yes, I just had an assistant, but I was doing basically 30-minute solo stage show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Where did you find your assistant? From Jamaica?
In Jamaica. I had a Jamaican assistant.
So you had to go to Jamaica and find an assistant, train her.
Yeah, train her, and I get to work with me.
Again, that sounds like a dream job.
Yeah, I tell you, Jamaica was the best place so far for me to perform, because I was basically the only magician in the island. There were a couple of magicians, but Jamaicans, and they didn't have experience, and didn't.
Yeah, and also you look different. You don't look like a Jamaican. They know you're from overseas.
Exactly. So
I'm guessing the MC would say, "Here he is from Cuba or somewhere."
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, he's from Cuba! Wow."
Yeah. Sometimes they would say from Canada.
Oh, from Canada.
From Canada as well, all the way from Canada.
Yes.
Because they want to give more. They want to create more of a big deal.
Yeah, I get this as well. It really works for me. If I'm doing a show in Singapore, they'll always say, "Here he is from London, Big Ben." Or if I'm doing a show in Hong Kong, they'll say, "Here he is from London, Big Ben."
Yeah.
Actually, I lived in Singapore. I lived in Hong Kong, but
basis they would say
good.
Cuba beside Jamaica, it's not a big deal.
Okay, Cuba's not so far from Jamaica.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But if you're from Canada, yes, that's great.
Exactly. So it was fantastic.
Why was it fantastic? Were the crowds nice? Were the audience good?
Yes, I experienced so many things, and I was so grateful to my teacher,
Eduardo.
Yeah, because it was a very, very good learning experience.
Yeah.
The magic was done differently.
But you've been doing this now for like 15 years professionally. 2 years in Cuba and then 13 years in Canada.
Yeah.
But you're still learning and learning and learning.
Yeah, every day we learn. Every day we learn something, you know. And once again, going back to Jamaica, it was very good because I have my shows in Canada the way I want it, but my teacher told me here is very different than Canada.
Okay.
The style, because you're not gonna be talking too much, you're just gonna provide 30-minute stage solid and good.
Yes, I think this is important because I've worked in different countries, and each country, even though you think they might be similar, they're not. I thought Singapore and Hong Kong would be quite similar.
Yeah.
But they weren't. They're not very similar. Singapore, despite its strict reputation, the entertainment is fun and cheap and cheerful. And for me, Hong Kong is the entertainment's more serious actually. Apart from Hong Kong has birthday parties, a lot more than Singapore, but the corporate shows in Hong Kong are much more serious than the corporate shows in Singapore. So yeah, every country's different. So you had to, I'm sure you had to adapt quite a lot.
Oh yeah, and
What's it like in Jamaica? What do you have to? How do you have to? You're saying that not so much talking.
No, it was.
I say not so much talking. I mean talking like crazy. Sorry. Let's Jose talk.
It was good experience. Imagine everything is the outdoor stage by the pool or by the beach, and you have to provide 30-minute perform. Now there was some great moment and over there, but at the same time some bad weather, and I have to basically work against the forces of life, which you know the wind and the magic is very rough. So I have to find, for example, things that wouldn't fly away so much.
It might be quite windy.
Yeah, exactly. I have to avoid doing things with fire because the wind, and it was a challenge. But I was doing great things, and I was doing things very solid. I could do it anywhere.
Yes. People don't realise that the weather does play a big effect. When I was in Singapore, the main problem for me with the weather was it was so hot. My hands would get sweaty, my head would get sweaty. I'd sweat so much I couldn't see or I couldn't hear because the sweat was going in my ears.
Yeah.
So the weather does play different countries, different weather, different style.
Yeah.
I went back to London. I had to do a show wearing like about 3 costumes because I was so cold.
Yeah, over there it was very hot.
Yeah.
And I remember every Monday I used to do a show about 12 or 1 o'clock in the middle of the sun.
Wow.
And with the suit.
God.
By the time I finished the 30 minutes, I was sweat. But my goal was to entertain and make the clients happy, and they were happy. So and I was getting paid for that every Monday. I remember every Monday I did 4 shows.
Wow.
1 o'clock.
4 half-hour stage shows.
Yeah, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock,
goodness.
and 8:30 or 9 o'clock, and the other one 11. Every Monday I would have done.
Wow, and you're doing 44 shows, up to 44 shows a
Yeah,
month.
the best season was 44 shows. The minimum season was 13 shows a month. The minimum.
Wow.
I was doing the minimum.
Wow.
But it was a contract. I have to provide everything that I needed toward the contract. All the money I need to give to my teacher, and the payment for the house and everything. And then he actually helped me enough hotel to get that kind of money. But once I got in there, I searched for more hotel. So I triplicate the business a lot, and that's what I did.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're doing this in Jamaica.
Oh, it was good.
You managed to do it for 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
And then how come you stopped? Did you just come to a natural end?
No, I didn't stop naturally. Family and life is. Before I went to Jamaica, I have met my wife Jennifer. And I told her, look, I don't want to get married anymore. I'm in the middle of finishing my divorce with a Chinese girl at that time, and I just basically want to be away and do my job, concentrate on my business. But in the meantime, the process of my divorce will take place on it.
Yeah.
And we became friends, and she was visiting Jamaica 5 times, I remember.
Yeah.
And then one thing led to the other, and I got the divorce done, and she was happy. We became very good friends, and then we became boyfriend and girlfriend. And last time she went to Jamaica, she got pregnant. And that's what it was.
This is your daughter?
My daughter
Sophia.
was made in Jamaica and born here in Hong Kong. So I have to stop everything, and I just come over here for my daughter. That's what it is.
Wow.
That's what family.
This is totally irrelevant. I have a friend called Jim Brewski, who's a stand-up comedian, and his wife is half Jamaican, half Chinese, and now he lives in Hong Kong. Maybe there's a link.
I have met him.
There you go.
I have met him a couple of times. While working with him, I think I worked with him once, and yeah.
So your wife you're not married yet, but
at that time I wasn't married.
But your wife to be is pregnant with your first child.
Yeah, first child.
So this changes. This is a turning point, right?
It turns everything. So I have to leave the business. And I think it was at a good time I left it, because the Jamaica turns into a big change at that moment.
Oh.
So I think it was at the same time I was lucky, because I left it in the right time.
You left it and it was still good. You left it while it was still good.
Yeah, it was good. But after a while, after I left from there 6 months, a lot of rules changed about hotels.
Oh, okay. So that worked out pretty well for you.
It worked
really.
out very good, actually.
So you left and you went to China, where Jennifer's from?
No, actually, Jennifer was living here in Hong Kong.
Oh, Jennifer was living in Hong Kong.
I went from Hong Kong directly to Macau. She was there waiting for me. But at that time, she didn't have the papers, and she had to exit out the country. I remember arriving in Macau, and she was like 8 months, her big belly.
Okay, so
this.
hang on, so I'm getting confused. So you leave Jamaica and you go to Hong Kong where Jennifer is.
Yeah.
But then you go to Macau.
Yeah, because I have to go to Macau, because by that time she was new in Hong Kong, in the country.
Oh, she was new in Hong Kong.
Yeah,
she's from mainland China.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
And she needed to exit out because of paperwork or visa
Yes, you
issue.
go out each time to get a new permit.
Yes,
in
exactly.
a couple of months.
So I just went directly to Macau to see her.
Yeah.
And I spent 2-3 days there, and I come back here to Hong Kong with her. So, yeah.
And now you're here.
And now I'm here
in
in Hong Kong. Yeah.
And you said you're in Hong Kong. This is about 2000, the year 2000, 19? No, sorry, 2000. 2010, 2009.
2009.
2009. You're in Hong Kong.
I've been here almost 6 years. A little bit over 6 years.
Yeah. So you're in Hong Kong. Your wife is Chinese. She's allowed to stay here now, is she?
Yes.
And
She's Canadian, because I met her in Canada.
Ah.
And that's how we communicate. She was visiting me in Jamaica. And I know it's kind of confusing.
Okay, what I want to know is how do you manage to stay in Hong Kong right now? What is your permit? Is it because you're married to Jennifer?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly. I'm married to Jennifer.
You're married to Jennifer, and that allows you to stay in Hong Kong.
Allows me to stay in Hong Kong and get a work here.
So now you've got to start all over again, because you've been doing big shows, and you've been doing Close-Up Magic in Canada. You're doing big shows, 44 shows a month in Jamaica, stage shows, and now you're in Hong Kong, and you've got to start all over again.
I wouldn't say start all over again. Just get back in track into my business and look the market that sells the most here in Hong Kong. To be honest with me, I think it's the family shows that sells the most.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the magicians up there. They feel in a low grade of their career, because I have to work for kids.
You mean the family show, like kids parties?
Yes,
like
exactly.
When you say family shows, you mean kids parties?
Yes, kids parties.
Yeah, I mean Hong Kong. If you follow the money, if you follow the cheese.
Yeah.
The best way to make a living as an entertainer in Hong Kong is birthday parties.
That's what it is. The money.
Same for me. I was doing stage shows in Singapore. And when I came to Hong Kong, I assumed I'll do more stage shows. No, I get masses and masses of birthday parties.
Yeah,
it's the way to
where
go.
the money, the marketing is.
Yeah, buddy. Boom.
Yeah, that's where the marketing is. Yeah.
And one of the contacts you met was me, right?
Yes. There we go. That was I was you at the very beginning when I arrived here.
And I recommended my friend Andy Comic.
Yes, it's amazing how things. The world is like a ball running around. You never know. Huh?
Yeah.
Now I get interviewed by you.
By me. Yeah. So you met me quite early on when you came to Hong Kong. I recommended Andy Comic.
Yes.
Who runs an agency.
Yes.
You started getting some work through him.
Yeah.
And then you just try and get more work from wherever you can.
More advertise myself with the Latin community.
Yeah.
I remember going to the bars and every evening and give a lot of business cards.
Yeah.
Any salsa event, I was just doing about 10-15 minute shows.
Right.
And I met a lot of people.
Yeah.
That helped me out through this.
And I saw you did I saw your video of a nice stage show in Macau for
yes.
Was it the Cuban or something like that?
I did 2 contracts with the NGM.
Okay. I've done a show there. The MGM and the Lion Bar.
Lions Bar.
Yeah.
Well, for the past 4 years in a row, I worked for the NGM in Christmas, NGM and Galaxy Hotel. But before that, I did 2 big contracts, 6 months for NGM.
Oh.
1 month. The first one was 1 month, and I was working every Thursday of the month.
So you had a 6-month contract to do shows in Macau every Thursday.
Well, every Thursday, but not every day.
Yeah.
So it was every Thursday of the week.
Okay.
So I did it like this.
You go to Macau and do a show.
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That's a good one.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, I'm jealous.
Yeah. Well, you have to get connected to the right people sometime, and my very good Cuban friend, which is musician, referred me to a guy over there.
Yeah.
And then from there, it took me about a year to get that job, but
it seems to me that that you get work by just making connections and meeting people and
yeah, it's very important,
very
important,
yeah.
and always have something that you can show the people. In my case, a deck of card coins and magic, because.
Okay, so when you're giving the name card, you can also show them a magic trick.
Yes, it did. I actually have a magic trick where I can produce a business card in a magical way, and the people want to see more. I have this. I guess by the years I've been doing my job, I have this. This comes on my persona itself, I think it comes in the person. I always want to be ahead of the game, always try to bring the client into that roller coaster up there and dropping down really fast. You can see them happy. And this is what I try to do in every sense of presentation and how to hand my business card.
You're not talking about just being on stage, you're talking about meeting people.
Yeah,
and you try, even when you meet people, you have your character.
Yeah.
And you amaze them with something.
Yes.
Just like when you're talking about the close-up magic, when you just drop your wallet and it bursts into fire.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. So
very always done it in that way. I think that's the best advertisement you can do, because now the people can really see what you do, what you're capable to.
So you are walking, talking 24 hours a day, a magician.
Yeah, always. I never leave my pocket with something.
You never leave home without something in your pocket.
Yes, if I have a coin and my business card, I'm doing magic already. Very interesting. So the people.
Yeah, I had an idea once. When I was in Singapore. And they allowed the street performing busking license, and I used to walk around wherever I went. I had a small magic set just in my pocket, and because I had this busking license, I was allowed to do busking. So whenever I was walking along the street, the main street, Orchard Road, and I saw a family just stopping around taking photos, maybe tourists, I'd pop in and do a little bit of close-up magic and do a little show.
Yeah.
And then. They liked it and they'd give me some money because I was allowed to take money because I was a busker.
Oh, I see.
That was something I did. Just make money out of nowhere. Just walking along the street. Just walking along the street getting my lunch and I'll do a trick for them. And do a show.
That's great. That's the way to do it. In order for us to be on top of the business and survive in it, we have to do it this way. Otherwise, it's very hard.
Yeah.
And that comes in our persona and our because you have so many years of experience, so do mine, and but there are certain things that comes in our persona that make us one of a kind.
Yeah.
And
so is your onstage persona and your offstage persona, is it the same?
no,
Because you seem quite a quiet, gentle.
yeah, I'm very
persona.
quiet. I'm very quiet.
But do you when you're on stage, are you?
Oh, I'm very hyper, crazy. It's a big.
Okay.
I'm very different.
And when you're meeting
transform.
somebody who might be, and you're giving them your name card, and you start doing a magic trick, do you suddenly change from being quiet to being big?
Yeah, I kind of transform myself a little bit.
Yeah.
It all depends how the vibe and the situation, you know.
Okay.
But if I'm there with like 2 or 3, 5 minutes, I'll be do something to get their attention anyway.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
You know, and it's once again, it all depends the situation. Some situations are very quiet, so you have to be quiet. You know, you have to respect and be polite.
Okay.
Not
So I can see you're getting work by word of mouth, by impressing people you meet,
Yeah.
by having magic tricks on your person.
Yeah.
So you're starting to get work in Hong Kong, and a lot of work in Hong Kong is birthday parties.
Yes,
So-
and I really thank Andy because he is the one who actually gave me a lot of works through him.
So how do you do your birthday party show? What do you do when you arrive?
Right now at this
Yeah,
moment,
yeah.
well, now my birthday show I realized in the past few years in Hong
To your
Kong.
website, I remember you've got
Yeah.
a silver package for 40 minutes.
Yeah,
And a gold package for an hour.
When it gets sold by the agency, it's different.
Oh, okay.
Because agency want us to be there for an hour,
Right.
and that's it.
Yes.
And sometimes they don't even explain the details of what we actually want to have. Well, he'll be there for an hour. He's good. He's great.
Yes.
But that's about it.
Just fill the hour.
Yeah, and then fill the hour. You go there, and basically kind of trust you. You know,
Yes.
go there and do the job, and that's it.
Yes.
But when you deal a client directly, it's very different because you can give them a details. For
Okay.
example.
And they can choose what they want. And
Yes, they can choose what they want.
Do you do lots of different kinds of birthday parties then?
Yeah, I do actually quite a few
wow.
different kinds, and
Well, let's say what would be one of your favorite ways to start a birthday party? Do you go there with a sound system and a mic?
yeah, I have all my sound system, my microphone, everything, all the toys.
Okay.
My shows is. I should
But is
say I
it
spend a
portable?
lot of money on my shows. It's very portable.
Excellent.
Pack flat and play big. And a very high
Pack
quality.
flat, play big. I like
Yeah,
that.
I was being that way. Pack flat, play big, and because all the experience I have had in the past in Jamaica, working with the rough weather, with
You've got lots of experience in all kinds
Yes.
of situations.
so my show, I have designed my show to be everywhere, anytime.
Brilliant. Is your bag ready to go at any moment? If you get a call, can you do a show in an hour's time? Can you just go out and
Oh yeah, you
you
bet.
can pop on the train
You
and
bet. Everything is ready.
ready to go?
I-
Me too.
I do the show. I finish packing. I put it back, everything back to
Yes,
normal.
I think it's a good idea.
When I come back here in the house, if my battery of the charger of whatever, I charge it back.
Straight away, yeah.
So
me too.
I can sleep in peace that everything is set for
Yes,
the next day.
I do
to
the
go.
same thing. I do the same thing, my friend.
Yeah.
Best way. You're ready
Yes,
to go.
You're ready to go. You're ahead of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in Hong Kong, you can travel quite easily by trains.
Yeah,
to
by
get to most
trains
places.
and even
you-
by taxi.
If you need to, you
you
get
know,
a taxi
exactly,
to go anywhere.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
At the very beginning, about the traveling time, I realized that, if you're gonna do 1 or 2 shows, it's best if you have equipment, and I have an assistant too as well.
You take an assistant to the birthday parties?
Yeah, I take an assistant.
Oh my goodness! Oh, this is very exciting.
Yeah, because
But doesn't that cost a lot of money? He said.
it does cost. Trust me. Now my shows are average between 2,500 3,000.
This is Hong Kong dollars,
Hong
not
Kong
US.
dollar, yeah.
Don't worry too much.
Exactly. And because at the very beginning, I experienced going a taxi, train, this back, and you go all sweaty,
Yes.
running a lot,
Yes.
back and forth, and with your suitcase, with the assistant. It's not worth it. For me, I look at it, I'm tired for no reason.
Okay.
And my concentration is I want to be able to do a very, very, very good show
Yes.
once I get there.
So what was your solution?
My solution is just to hire a taxi or van
Hire a taxi or a van.
and charge the client whatever the transportation and tell them, look, this is what it costs, and that's it.
Yeah.
And this is what I do. I go down here, call the van, Uber van, they take me, go over there to the show.
You call a Euro?
Uber.
Uber. It's Uber.
Uber,
Okay,
yeah.
Uber. Yeah.
Uber van.
And that works fine, does it?
Yeah, and they
There's a
pick me
tip
up.
for me. I try Uber van as well.
Yeah, Uber van is very good, and the taxi.
Yeah.
And I go to the show.
Do you hire him for the whole day if you have 3 or 4 shows in one day?
Indeed,
Yes.
indeed. Because once I finish the show, I give him my time. I said to him, 45 minutes, 20 minutes to prepare, 45 minutes to an hour, and 20 minutes to pack it down. I'll see you here at this time.
Yes.
And he's at the door.
I
so
do
I'm,
this as well
I'm ready.
sometimes.
I'm ready to go
Do
at
you use
the
the
door.
same driver? Or do you get...
I was
Often.
lucky to 90% I use the same driver. I lucky
me
to
too. I have a
find.
favourite minivan driver.
I have a minivan driver which is Hong Kong and speaks Spanish.
Oh, perfect. Ah, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get to this is lovely. Same. I do the same sort of thing. And okay, so you get to the show. Do you go into the room and set everything up and wait there until it's time for the show to begin,
Yeah.
or are you one of the people who says hello to the mum and then waits outside and then bursts in to start your show?
No, I like to take my time. I first I walk into the venue. I look at the contact person. I get to briefly
Yes.
talk with that. I'll be the magician performer for this afternoon. I just want to see where is the birthday boy or the birthday girl, who is it first, the location and the area that you have.
And then you'll set up and just hang around until it's time.
Once I find the area, I set up. Now, because my show is completely different than the ones that I've seen in Hong Kong, and all my equipment are top of notch, the best of the best, and I take me about 20, sometimes to 30 minutes to set up.
Oh, this is interesting. Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to be that way is because I want to be different, and I want them to really experience a show, a magic show itself.
So you have tables and things to
I have
unfold and set up.
Exactly, tables. I have prepared quite a few routines. I have my wireless mic, my portable wireless mic. I have 2 speakers, Bluetooth speaker. So I do a show, an actual show. In order for me to do a great work, so that people keep on hiring me back, because that's the idea. I have to have an assistant, because assistant take care of the music, lower down the music. Put
Is your assistant a local Hong Kong magician, woman, girl?
No, she. I met her here. She's from Cuba actually as well, and she's been helping me since 4 years. She's been great.
Fantastic.
Although I have to look for another assistant soon because she's pregnant.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But anyway, it's been great.
Okay, this is I like this because a lot of the birthday people I spoke to, like Andy, I spoke to, and Matt Coombs, I spoke to, they're guys who will wait outside and just burst in, so they only have to do their hour. But people like me and you, we're actually in front of the kids for an hour and a half.
Yeah, exactly.
Even if we're only doing an hour show, because we set up and we're chatting and saying hello and smiling.
Exactly.
And you've got to stay near your stuff, because otherwise sometimes the kids will come and start breaking your tables and things, right?
That's one of the reasons I have that system to look after that.
Oh, that's great.
But I set up everything and get ready to start. I do the show by myself, don't get me wrong, but it wouldn't go as smoothly and a professional way as I want it to be. But
you're also the only entertainer, birthday party entertainer who's I've met so far who takes an assistant. That's very interesting.
I do.
Because it's expensive for you, but you think it's worth it.
I mean, it's expensive because by the time you take the van and
pay for the van
and pay for the assistant,
it's a
we really don't make too much. And in my hours that I put, a lot of people say, "Oh, it's too expensive," but you'd be surprised.
But you spent a lot of money just to get there and take an assistant, of course. An assistant really should almost double the price of your show because they're there doing as much work as you the whole day long, almost.
Yes, exactly.
I see what you're saying.
It adds that. But I mean, if you want to get a really good show, you have to pay for a good show. And that's why I do a good show.
Yeah, I think that's something that I've got to remember. I think the best way to do our business is to be amazing.
Yeah.
And that's your website.
And to offer people...
Amazing magic.
To offer people that they are satisfied with what they have bought.
Yeah.
Because what happens, I see so many guys that they charge $1,500, but they go over there to do 10 minutes of magic, the rest joke and jumping around.
Yeah.
And maybe the first bite, what I'm trying to say, for them the first time they perform is okay, but the people are not very interested eventually in this type of thing. I want people to be interested in my show. I want them to know that I have an actual show, so my props are...
Do you have a problem though, sometimes trying to do your best show and the kids just won't, the kids will be too active, they'll be running around, they'll be disturbing you at a birthday party?
I believe that it happened only once and was the first time I get to perform here in Hong Kong.
First time?
It was at the Ocean Park.
Okay.
And,
what happened?
What happened was that everything was okay, but the kids were playing and jumping around. One of the kids pushed my table and the table fell on the thing. I have to pick up everything. That was the only time I remember that happens. And
why don't they disturb you? They disturb me. They disturb every other entertainer.
Well, no, I have a.
Your assistant.
Not only assistant, I have a system.
A system. Okay.
I have a system.
You have an assistant and a system
that I use to deal with the kids.
What is your system?
Basically, I do a pre-announce of what's going to happen on the stage.
Yeah.
And I also tell them that there will be 2 tables on the stage. They, in order for me to give them a better show, they must be seated. They must do no jumping or running around. No cell phones or anybody. I want them know that I'm giving them something special to them, but at the same time, if they interrupt, it doesn't become special anymore.
Yes.
And I want to make sure that they get this message.
So this is how you, before you begin, you tell them this.
Basically, I introduce myself. Once again, like I mentioned to you, my name is Jose Antonio. I have a great show lined up for all of you. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it very much.
Just quickly, how do I say your name?
Jose Antonio.
Jose Antonio.
Well, it's a very long name, Jose Antonio Almenares Pinedo. But you can call me Jose Antonio.
Jose Antonio.
It's
or
easy.
if I want Jose Antonio Almenares.
Almenares, yeah.
Almenares.
So I go with this pattern every show. I greet myself about what they're going to see. They're going to have a great show. That I'm 100% sure they will enjoy it very much.
Yeah.
So I'm guaranteeing that they will enjoy the show. Not only guarantee, I actually make sure that they are at the party for the birthday girl.
Okay, so you make you also you realize that the birthday child is very important. I think that's
yes,
important.
indeed, and not only the birthday child, the parents do as
Right.
well, because they're the one who give the invitation and they set up everything for
Yes.
the actual child.
Yeah.
So it's very important to make sure that all of the people that are there, they really have to appreciate that. That
And you don't get too many interruptions and disturbances.
no, after I say that, like I said now, before I continue on the show, I have to mention a few things that are very important. So listen carefully and follow my instructions. In order to avoid any accident during the show, I will appreciate if you'll remain seated, unless I ask you to come over to help me out with some of my magic.
I'm clapping, I'm bowing down.
Yeah.
People can't see me, but I'm that's a good idea.
No jumping, no running. If you have any question, you can ask me anything after the show.
Yeah.
And in order for you guys get a
I
great
love
show.
doing this podcast. I learned so much. That's a lovely way to approach it.
In order for me to give you a great show, you guys have to remind.
And then you're able to do a show.
Yeah, because what happens if you don't tell the children, especially what you want, they won't know. Basically, every time I do a show, I tell them this.
Yeah.
Because it's very important.
So then you're able to do your best show.
Yeah.
And what is your best show at the moment for a birthday party? That you do not.
A lot of good best show. It's hard to tell. I think my goal is at the end of the day when I do the magic show is to see the joy of the kids' faces and their parents.
Yeah.
And I go to sleep with the good satisfaction of myself. They laugh, they enjoy, and there was no problem.
And if you're doing 45 minutes, is it just 45-minute show for 45 minutes?
Yes, it's an actual stage show with 45-minute audience participation.
Yeah.
There's no too much of a silliness thing. I think there might be one little one routine that I have played silly, because I think they have to be in the show, have to be comedy, silliness, audience participation, serious stuff, good things. So I keep things intriguing and in many different ways, many different level. Because
my show is almost all silly.
But everybody has their different style, and I think that's why I stand out from the other entertainer, because I do natural shows, and my shows, in order for me to be magical, it needs 20 minutes to set up, because I need to prepare some things, and basically it's like that, and
so you're doing a variety of stuff. Sometimes you're serious. You have one silly bit. You have audience participation.
Yeah.
Do you have choreographed shows, bits to music?
Yeah, all the segment on my shows has music.
Is it 45 minutes of music?
90% of it, 80%.
Oh yeah, lots of.
Yeah. Well, I when I was working back in Jamaica, I used to just put a tape and follow, but now I talk in between. I have music. That's why I have the assistant to put the music.
Yes.
And it goes as smoothly like a proper theater. So imagine you go into a movie theater to see a show. I put that feeling in your living room.
Wow.
Yeah, this is what my accomplishment.
Yeah. And do you have a big finish? A favorite big finish?
It all depends. I usually finish with a snowstorm.
That's where you have the fan and the confetti snow.
And a kid like.
That's lovely because they'll all run around. And
yes, usually finish when I do the kid shows.
And also very portable.
Yeah.
It will fill the room with confetti, but actually you don't have to carry a heavy piece of equipment around.
No. It's just a little, you know.
I know. Yeah, but a little
tiny things.
Bundle of confetti snow and a fan.
What are you doing, Sophia? What happened? No, you don't need that. She's more attached to me, and she wants to go everywhere.
I cannot get any work done when my kids are around. Nothing.
Yeah,
I try.
Yeah, it's very crazy. But anyway, going back to what we just talked about, my idea is to bring the show into create the feeling of there
show.
are in a theater
Inside the living room. That's great. I think that's interesting because for me, I started off doing stage shows, and when I'm doing a birthday party, because I'm silly, my act is silly, the kids naturally want to come on stage and start messing around with my stuff. So for me, it's very hard to do.
Control that.
It's very hard to do a stage show, a theatre show, in a birthday party, and I find that sometimes a bit frustrating. But you're able to. So my birthday parties have become less like stage shows in some ways. There's still a lot of stage show. My show, because that's how I began doing stage shows. So my birthday party is still a lot of stage show. But sometimes it's a bit of a fight to try and keep the kids down so that I can do my funny routines that look good on stage. And sometimes I just have to stop and start interacting with the kids and let them come on stage and just go off at a tangent, because that's the only way
I don't have I haven't experienced this kind of problem since the very beginning. The thing is, another thing I noticed that helped a lot on this. I have seen a lot of the entertainer when they perform in the house, they don't use a wireless mic.
Right.
They just talk.
Yes.
That's my voice. When I use my wireless mic, I take the command.
Yeah.
My voice over them. Psychologically, they will low grade their attention. They will pay attention, and they will not go too crazy.
I agree. I play a lot of music in my birthday parties, and I do use a microphone, and that helps it become a stage show.
Yeah, that helps them come down, because you can orientate them more. You can tell them what you want and stuff like that.
There you go.
I don't have a problem on this, that the kids interrupt me. I don't have a problem at all.
Yeah.
Because in a discreet, in a good manner, basically I tell them what I want them to do.
Yeah.
I want them to be seated quietly.
Right.
In order for me to, if they want to see a great show, in order for me to do so, they have to obey the simple rules that are, in order to give them a good show. They have to keep themselves seated. No food. I wouldn't like them to eat food or anything like that during my show. Why is that? It's because if they're playing, somebody.
No, I agree. I think it's always a disaster when I suddenly see them. When I'm waiting for my show and I notice they're suddenly you're waiting for your show, and then the mother starts giving out food. You go, oh no.
No, it's not good idea.
They're not going to watch my show. They're going to be sitting around dropping food and eating and walking away to get more food.
And imagine drinks. When they're sitting and they start spitting the drink and the food, they interrupt it right away. Yeah. I prefer when I deal with that.
You actually announce that is your wish.
Sure. No, I tell, when I deal directly with a client, I tell them.
Oh, you tell them during the booking process?
Yes, I tell them ahead of time. I say by experience. I believe this is the best way of doing it. But it's up to you.
Yeah.
I can do it the other way around, but the show is not going to be as good.
When they call you or they email you, you will actually. That's one of the things you will say. You'll say. One of the things I say is, let my show begin at least half an hour after the party starts. If the party starts at 3:00, you don't want me starting my show at 3:00 because nobody will be there. And you also say to them, by the way, in my experience, it's best if you don't have any food during my show.
Basically, I just basically tell them in a discreet way, what it really is the best for them. If they go into a clubhouse and they have 3 hours, for example, I said to them, look, if you start at 3 and you finish at 5, call for 3 o'clock, have the magic show for 4.
Yes.
Because 3 o'clock you call, a lot of people are not going to show up at that time.
That's right, yeah.
They will show up an hour later.
Yeah.
Have the show at 4 o'clock, for example. Finish the show, 1 hour, supposed to be there. You have half an hour to do whatever you want, and then you have your time to clean up and do things.
Yeah.
Now, you can have the choice of give them munchie before they arrive. I do the show 45 minutes. Once the show is done, we'll sing happy birthday if the happy birthday thing is gone, and they can have their meal right away. Always give them something to eat before, but I don't like them eating while the show is on, because nobody pays attention when you're eating.
They don't.
It's the nature. It's a human thing, you know.
Yeah.
You eating, and you don't eat like this. You eating, you relax.
You can't see him on the audio, but when people are eating, they're looking down. They're not watching your show.
Yeah, exactly. You have to talk straight to the client. Make them know that it makes sense, everything that you're telling.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to get the best show you will experience, whatever, you do this. Try to start the party at 3. Set everyone in for 3 o'clock. Have the magic show for 4. If you want 1 hour, I do the show for 1 hour. After that, we do the cake cutting, and they take the picture. Now everybody can go and eat their meal.
Afterwards. Yeah, that's the best way. I agree. So, this is Jose. What a great story. From Cuba to Canada, to China, to Jamaica, and to Hong Kong. I love that he brings a full stage show, such as you might see in a theatre, to a birthday party. I also love his close-up magic approach to finding guests by accidentally on purpose, dropping a wallet, asking if the wallet belongs to the guests, then the wallet bursting into fire. How could you not be interested in seeing some close-up magic after seeing that introduction? And I also love his way of controlling the kids at a birthday party with a pre-announcement of the rules. Well, this has been the podcast for today. Stay tuned for next week. Woohoo! Next week we've got some brilliant ideas on marketing and pricing your shows. So, stay tuned. Talk to you soon.